Hey everyone. So I'm doing this on two screens, so I'm going to be looking back and forth. But anyways, this is a psychic reading on Nithyananda. I already have done a previous reading on Nithyananda, and I was contacted by someone who wanted me to try and help find more information about him to help people find him, and I don't know, solve the situation, because it's a rough situation. He has fled India on rape charges, and a lot of people say he's a scam artist. I believe that there's some truth to that, but at the very same time, I also do believe there is some. He's not just scamming everything he does. I do believe there is, he is really doing miracles on some level, although a lot of it I also think is a scam. So the last video I did a live reading. This video I'm going to do it a little differently, where I'm not going to do a live reading. I've already done the reading. It's a written reading. It's something that I offer for more complex types of questions where you want more specific answers, versus if you just want a generalized reading, then you can get my live reading, where I just kind of say what comes to my mind as I'm looking at it. Where a written reading, you have more specific questions with more specific answers, where I won't do it live because I want to be able to really sit with it and not be on the spot to have to say something to someone in front of me on a screen. That way I can just close my eyes for 5 minutes straight and come to a conclusion slower at my own pace for more specific, conclusive answers, versus the live, which is, more kind of broad, more energetic answers, but that way you can interact more. So anyways, you can compare these two types of readings and tell me which ones you like better. So this is the written reading, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it. Alright, Nithyananda. He is teaching a girl, and this is just my notes, this is just what I wrote as it came to me. He is teaching a girl about everything he learned when he was a child. He sees himself as having exceptional experiences as a child, and feels that he is exceptional because of it, almost like he could bend reality to his liking. And also, to put this into more context, also watch my first video I did on him, and you can find that on YouTube. As if he were more exceptional than our perception of reality, which he views almost like the Matrix, and that he can bend it to his will. His childhood enlightenment experiences justify everything in his mind. He's wanting to educate this girl and make her his prodigy. He shows her places of inspiration to go to and spoils her with riches. She is more and more in his clutches because of this sense of being a princess with the world at her feet. The problem is that she has not achieved what he has on her own, and cannot inherit his powers. His powers are not what they used to be anyways, which was a trust in himself and his intuition that over time became egocentric, with his need to demonstrate his ability to tap in and the experiences he had as a child. Which made him egocentric. I haven't actually reread my notes since I wrote them, so. The girl he is training has no future without him, except to be a tyrant if they do what he wants. If the girls the people he's training, that is. There is a serious lack of spirituality within her future. I sense that he might be somewhere to the east of Africa. Madagascar came to mind, but that does not mean anything necessarily. And I want to be clear, like, I'm not saying any of this is absolutely for sure, especially the location specifically. That was kind of more of a guess, a psychic intuitive guess than like a statement. I cannot say with certainty where he is. If I get a stronger inclination, I will post it below and in the comments of these videos I'm making now. 2 girls are being treated like royalty, almost better than he treats himself. Although he still demands the utmost respect and authority over them, he may find himself having to do things for himself that are not as kingly as in his image or his liking. And he is in hiding, and that's the reason why. Not too many people around, on constant lookout. He's worried of being caught, but acts as if he is not, which is all for public display. In his mind, he has backup plans that he wouldn't tell others because it would make him look less powerful. While he declares his superiority, he laughs, but with more timidity, being timid, and looks over his shoulders while doing so. It is all a show for his supporters. There is a silliness to him that is due to his fear that manifests as him being silly and making more jokes because his authoritarian attitude is less severe in the state of his hiding. This is just what I'm reading. I don't know if this is visible on any of his his videos that are visible on YouTube to the general public. But anyways, this is what's coming to me when I'm reading. There is more a sense of family with those close to him, but he is still lying about his kingliness, or his divinity, I guess you could say, or his righteousness, while making secret backup plans in fear. Like he's trying to make himself appear more powerful. Everything he fears he justifies as being a divine plan if questioned, and such a righteous plan that it could only be thought up by a divine master like him. He wants to travel. He doesn't care about his temple in India and plans to do something else if he can. He wants to be something like a traveling mystic who can entice others to follow him after seeing his miracles in person. He wants to rally support in that manner to create a new group of people seeing him in such a positive light that is not connected to his previous work necessarily. He dreams of going to the U.S. and thinks he could if he gets enough supporters to contradict those opposing him and discredit those accusing him of rape and child abuse. Which, again, if you haven't seen my first video, you should probably check that out, where I go over a lot more of that sort of stuff. When I ask what can be done to stop him, spiritually I see a dog spirit coming to maul him, which is a bit violent, but that's what I saw. And this has to do with his inability to stand up to his claims while under attack or being under pressure. It seems that being challenged would be an easy defeat. Those who follow believe he is almost invincible, and to see him so easily beaten would break the spell. Of course, this would have to be from a fair fight and allowing him to properly defend himself, literally or not, whether you want to take that literally or more metaphorically, or even you could say energetically. Actually, no, it's not so much energetically. This has to be something that is viewable to his followers. It looks like this could be as simple as people speaking out against him and really saying it like it is. Although that's not going to do it by itself. It has to really be proven, and people have to know it, in other words, and not just be able to discredit it like they have. People who may have known those people in his group may start to have their belief systems break apart slowly if they knew the people who start coming out, over time, is what I was saying. It seems unlikely for him to be arrested unless he loses his followers first, and then I could see him giving up and possibly even turning back to India, and maybe even turning himself in. But that would only be if he really lost his following, like if he was basically humiliated, in other words. I don't see him wanting to be anywhere but India without his following. So, in other words, I get the sense that if things like his following was to just vanish from him, which I don't really see happening very easily or anytime soon, he would probably want to go back to India. I get the sense, which could be wrong, that he might be around the southeast coast of Africa, the southern eastern coast of Africa. His followers will defend him unless they see his actual weakness. They don't even care if he is right. They will defend him regardless. It is all justified in their minds. Their lavish lifestyle justifies it all. Even though, I'll get to that, the lavish lifestyle, but that's how I was reading it, was it being a lavish lifestyle, which is kind of contradictory to what I've learned, but that's what I was reading. They may not be depleted in many ways, or they may be depleted in many ways, but I also see them feeling like they are living lavishly, even if it wouldn't make sense to an outsider. They feel divinely appointed even if the world doesn't understand them, and it is everyone else who needs to be convinced, so injustices are justified. Nithyananda gives his followers a sense of family and warmth, but it is more like he has tricked them into going along with his kidnapping. However, they love him. It is purely emotional, and to the point that logic and the outside world saying otherwise is like a crime against their humanity because they love him so much. It's something they feel, and it is like they melt and lose their other senses. He gives people a purpose and goal. It is a feeling that overtakes them. Reason has no place in it, so trying to prove them wrong does nothing. What could help remove followers from him would be to find a strong cause of something to believe in that he teaches them, and have the same thing being fought for more aggressively by someone of a different organization outside of his teachings. In other words, kind of like steal the show, so to speak. That would draw more people to other directions. He attracts the extreme personality. So in other words, extremists, people who feel very opinionated about something and want to kind of fight for that, with the sense of injustice in the world. That's kind of what kind of drives them. Passion about something that he teaches being exposed to them by someone else could divert their attention. This isn't about alternative teachings. This is about fighting for things passionately and wholeheartedly. He controls people through their heart chakra and second chakra, which is of emotions, but also through his ownership of their sixth chakra, which is what he talks about, which is the third eye. He is worried and looking for a new path himself, where he can do better and run into people who have never heard of him before to impress him with his charm. Nithyananda has come to the understanding that the imagination is magic, and it is what psychic abilities work through, but he has taken it to the extent of overriding reality with his imagination, rather than using his imagination as a psychic tool to affect reality or do a reading. Of course, he does affect reality with this ability, but he also simply denies reality in favor of his imagination, and hasn't learned to accept reality or even read reality beyond what his imagination wants. So, that's my reading of Nithyananda. I hope you liked that. If you haven't seen my first video, go ahead and check it out on YouTube, which I will post up below when I post this video. Thanks for watching.